everyone. I'm Upasna, founder of the Connects group, and I would like to thank all of you for joining us today for this discussion on the 4 Fs of overall growth, uh, namely food, fitness, finance, and focus. So, addressing that, I would like to introduce our panelists for today. Our food expert being Hi Romita.
Hi everyone, my name is Romita and I have a brand called Romita's Nutrition and we are into advising clients on their diet on the basis of Ayurvedic principle and at the same time I do food menus as well. So that's me. Hi. Glad to
Hi,
be part of this panel.
Thank you.
hi, Romita.
Our
Hi.
Hello.
expert
Hi.
Prema. Prema, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, so I'm Prema. I've been a journalist for 2
We can't
decades.
hear you. We can't hear you.
Sound hear me? Can we start? Yeah. So, hi, I'm Prema Rajaram. I've been a journalist for 2 decades and been into fitness also. But of course, it was a lot of late nights and a lot of partying and alcohol with the fitness. But the complete transformation began when I started running marathons in 2015. And it's been a great journey because I was the first female non-elite runner from Kolkata to do a full marathon. Went across the country, did a lot of marathons, have been ambassador for many events again across the country. Um, emceed a lot of events also because that really makes me feel nice and reach out to people who come there maybe for the first event. Got into fitness coaching last year where I'm a Reebok running sport coach and do some fitness training as well for some people. So a lot to learn and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Our finance expert, Siddharth.
Hi, everybody. I'm Siddharth Punjabi, better known as Sid Punjabi. I have been part of Cuff Connects from day one. Thanks to Patna, to the Connects group, actually. And I think I'm part of the Housecast, and the other one as well, right? You have 3 Connects. Glad to be part of this. This is, I think, my third or fourth time we've spoken about finance with the Patna and this panel. The panelists are new, but this topic has been going on for a while. I think since COVID, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, my journey has been I've been a financial investor, trader since the last 16 years, been a coach for the last 8 years, and my journey continues, as they say. So great meeting all of y'all. Thank you, Pasna, for this chance, and thank you everyone for taking time and coming to hear each one of us out.
And lastly, but definitely not the least, Dr. Shilpa, our focus expert.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Shilpa Gupta, and I have been into practicing mental health since more than 15 years now. And my initial journey was as a parenting consultant, but my education was into, I was an ENT surgeon to be very precise. I diversified into parenting, and then my clients taught me the gaps that you need to focus on in mental health. And that's where my different certifications, trainings, and all my journey started in this way. At present, I am a therapist and I'm an international trainer in a technique called as emotional freedom technique. I'm a master trainer. And I also teach and supervise psychologists. So that's where I am right now.
Thank you for joining us today. So, the whole conversation on where to begin, meaning in this journey for whether it's food, fitness, finance, or focus, what is the first step, do you all think, in the process? Ramita, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So, since I represent food is like a basic fundamental right for us to eat to survive. And for us, the way we look at nutrition, the first step is awareness. awareness about your own body constitution, where as per Ayurveda, we categorize it into various phenotypes. You might have heard of these terms called Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So we have very elaborate questionnaires where we analyze our clients, their physical attributes, their temperament, weather preferences, and stuff like that. And on the basis of that, we kind of make them aware that, everybody has a very unique body constitution, and that's why very unique nutritional requirements. And we start by, telling them the do's and don'ts across food groups. I mean, as simple as which grains, which fruits will work for them, which vegetables. So kind of starting with that basic awareness that, there's something which will not work for you in the long run. And this is something which was determined when you were a child, as a tiny embryo in your mother's womb. That's when your phenotype is actually determined. And it is only during the course of your life that the kind of lifestyle you will end up adopting, you'll end up developing doshas or health issues where, all these phenotypes, they get into imbalance. So in a perfect harmony, in a perfect balance, all these three are present in equal amounts in the human body. So I think that is the first step, that you need to understand what is your body type and hence what are your nutritional requirements. So that is the
Planning
first
your
step.
nutrition forward, like food.
Yeah.
Understand your body and planning your nutrition.
Yes, that's right. Understand your body, and then you go about making informed food choices across food groups. So that is the stepping stone, the beginning for us in the process of,
And
yeah.
what about you, Prema? What do you think is the first step towards fitness?
I think COVID was an eye opener for many who started their fitness journey then. And for those before who've been into fitness like me, decided to try something different. And COVID gave us that space to do that, whether it was working out at home and me putting up these charts online, to give people an idea that you don't really need anything really big. Maybe gyms are shut, maybe we're not able to run. But say I run a 21 kilometers indoors, 13 kilometers on my terrace, and the rest 8 kilometers in my house. I used to work out at home, and I used to say, okay, space can't work out. If you don't have space, this is what you do. This and I got more fit. Then there was the opportunity to go cycling because I think a lot of people did that, and that took me to the next level. So now I'm attending triathlons, and so I feel somewhere COVID has been an eye opener. And for anyone who wants to really look at fitness, first understand, why do you want to get fit? What is your goal? Do you want to get fit because you want to look good? Great. Or do you want to get fit because you want to feel better and let that reflect in your workplace, or lead a better life with your family, with your kids? So, and I think as a woman, somewhere setting an example for your family is key, because being a Pinkathon ambassador as well, when I understood that bringing the woman out of the house to go and have fun, run that marathon, whether it's 3 kilometer run or even more, was key to helping her realize that her being fit should not be her being apologetic about it. It is her freedom, and she setting examples of eating the right food, like Romita was saying, or saying that okay, you must be fit or be agile. That sets the key and the tone for the entire house. So it's about understanding what you want to do, why do you want to do it, and don't necessarily have to choose running like I did, but choose something you like. You like Zumba, go for it. You like yoga, go for it. So know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and start it. It's going to take time, but small baby steps.
What about you, Siddharth? Financial journey. What do you think is the first step?
So the first step is, like they've been talking about, food fitness and fitness in general. So the first step towards getting financially fit is actually to understand something which I call as MQ, which is known as the money quotient. How you have an EQ and IQ, but you also have an MQ, and a lot of that MQ has been ingrained in us since we were children, and how you kind of understand that and how you get out to to better yourself by adding skills where you can financially level up, and especially in today's world where I think most of us don't know how the money comes in and how the money goes out. So I think it's like I kind of expert in I kind of say that having a budget, that's like the first thing what you would do is having a budget is actually telling your money what to do rather than your money telling you what it's doing. At the end of the month you get your sheet, you get your account statement or whatever, and you're like, okay, where did this money come and where did this money go? Before it could even come in, it's already gone out. So how we do budgeting and how we do planning and all of that is part of the first step, where we would be like, okay, let's first budget, because budget is actually telling your money what to do rather than you being like, oh, what happened to my money? Yeah, so that would be the first step towards trying to get kind of financially fit.
Dr. Shilpa, what do you think is the first step?
So, Upasna, before I even speak anything about the focus aspect, first, I think mental health is a very misunderstood or concept, So I would like to first create a context for everyone so that in further discussion, everybody is understanding what am I talking about. So this is a very common thing. I think most of the people understand the meaning of body, mind, and soul. For teaching purposes and expertise, we can divide them, but actually they're all one element. That's most important thing to know. Now, when I say one element, I mean is everything is correlated and interrelated. If I'm beheaded, can I exist? What will happen to my physical health? Everything loses its meaning. If I lose a spouse, the meaning of everything in life might just change in a second. So first understanding, it is what is going on here, and this is going to hold the ground for everything we are doing, I'm not talking of mental illness, I'm talking of mental health. The way, Prema very nicely put it forward that COVID brought in a lot of awareness for a lot of people in many different ways, and wherever everyone was, they wanted to explore more. Similarly, I realized the mental health aspect is very limitedly understood in India. And when we did surveys in COVID, we realized that most of the issues were around emotions. In mental health, that is one aspect you can work without going to a psychologist or a doctor. It increases your EQ. You take care of your emotions, your health starts improving. And that's when we actually turned up designing a program known as Emotional First Aid Program, known as EmoAid Self-Help Program, where we teach 18 different ways of dealing with your emotions. For example, I'm upset with somebody at home. It doesn't mean I have a mental illness, but do I know how to manage it? Do I have a band-aid for that, of holding that relationship? I am feeling low because of something happening in finances. I don't have a mental illness, but do I have a technique, a supplement to drink, which brings back out of that low feeling? We don't have such elements. It exists. A psychologist may know. A mental health professional may know, but a common man is not aware of those little nitty-gritties that they can take care of to actually have a very healthy mental health. You get the point? So here, the aspect that I want to focus on is the way Siddharth said on MQ, a person now, when he shared about, seeing a financial sheet, यही सुनकर ही बहुत लोगों को स्ट्रेस हो जाएगा, बिकॉज वो बैकग्राउंड से आता है. Fear of numbers, fear of performance, fear of how I'll be judged in society. So a lot of time your mental health stops you from performance. So understanding that I can only focus when I know where I stand. I cannot focus when I don't know my limitation. So divide your area. You can start anywhere and you can then amalgamate everything together. Divide yourself into a couple of categories: money, health, relationships. Divide yourself into maybe 4 or 5 categories and then rate yourself from 1 to 10. How is that area moving on? Which is that area I want to now focus on for the next couple of months? And let me stabilize that area of life, and then let me go to another area of life. In that process, resolve everything. Focus on what all is limiting me. If I have to go, let's say, physical health, I am taking help of Prema. Still, why am I not able to get up in the morning? What she is doing, I am not able to do because she has a strong motivation, willpower, focus. Where is mine? What is taking it away? What beliefs am I carrying in life? What around health, around many other, maybe time management. So, two things when it comes to mental health. Your emotions are coming from beliefs, or you don't have skills. Skills is where experts will come, like Prema will come, Romita will come, Siddharth will come. But where it comes from beliefs, it comes from your what you learned in your life, your traumas, your experiences, your culture, your stereotypes. All that doesn't get out so easily. That's where having a healthy mental health is important. So it's not a separate focus, is never a separate element. Focus is a choice you make, and then you take steps on that. And whatever is in the way, you resolve, move, let everything move away, whatever is in the way. So you achieve whatever goal you want to achieve. And that's where mental health will also come in, so that it is helping you enhance your performance.
And this is exactly, thank you, because this is exactly what we're trying to say, that all of this, the food, the fitness, the financial part of it, and even the focus, this is all interconnected. Until someone cannot focus, they will not be able to focus on their nutrition, they will not be able to do fitness, they will not be able to achieve financial fitness, like Siddharth said, do anything if they cannot just get up and at least sort their head out.
Absolutely. It's all interrelated. Just make a choice and start walking, and then you have experts for that.
Thank you. And so how we spoke about how to start. How do you get rid of unnecessary elements? So like maybe in Romita's case, it'll be something like junk food or anything else that you can think of as a nutritionist.
So I think junk food is something that everybody knows, as the word suggests, it's junk food. So people are very aware, they are mindful. I mean, even kids these days are very aware that, you should eat it very sparingly or on special occasions or when you're traveling and stuff like that. So I think one of the biggest trends which has caught up over the past couple of months is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, where people will go without food for like 12 to 16 hours and stuff like that. So I just wanted to shed some light on that. That if it's working for you, great, and please do it under medical supervision if like the doctor has advised you to do that. Otherwise, the way we tell our clients and the way we have studied and the way we have seen it actually work is in Ayurveda, we don't really prescribe any kind of fasting where you're without food or even water, especially without food or like light foods and all for very prolonged periods of time. Because what happens in such cases is that your acids tend to work up, and your vat, you tend to develop bloating and stuff like that. So it is not at all healthy. It will further complicate your health, and it will not let you function efficiently. We believe in a concept of called Ayurvedic fasting, where we advise you to eat simple and clean foods. You can go in for smoothies, you can go in for boiled or steamed food without any spices and stuff like that. Once in a fortnight is fine. And I don't mean to, disrespect any religious sentiments and all over here, but I mean, just whatever you're practicing, whatever is your belief, just do it in moderation.
I'm sorry
Like,
about it. We'll come back to this. But what I meant to ask was, how do you kind of like, avoid all this, like, all these, I'm calling them distractions, but the road to nutrition, how do you get rid of these unnecessary elements that kind of will, you just get tempted. You will want to eat junk. You will want to go out. You will want to, okay, today that much extra sweet. How do you avoid that? That is what I'm trying to get out here
okay.
with this question.
Okay. So how to kind of overcome your temptations? So yeah, sweet or something like we've just had a very good festival season. Diwali is behind us now, and all of us are struggling with the post Diwali fatigue and all that. So I mean, how to overcome it is like, you like if you want to enjoy something sweet, definitely go in for it. I mean, you have worked towards it. You even if you haven't, like, it's like, what my advice is that you have your sweets in first half of the day, so that you have more time to kind of, digest and metabolize whatever you have eaten. And again, portion control. I mean, you will be offered, there'll be a platter right in your face. So now it is up to you how you choose wisely from that platter. You come across all kind of sweets, and so go in for healthier options which have more nuts in it, which balances out. Again, I mean, when it comes to meetha, there is this concept of sugar free. Arey, sugar free hai, kha lo. But you'll be shocked to know that between jaggery and refined sugar, the glycemic index of jaggery is like an 84.4 vis-a-vis refined sugar. So these days, even doctors, they suggest that please don't add stevia or sugar free. So it's like practically banned now. You can still add one spoon of sugar to your tea if you're a tea drinker or a coffee drinker. So it is all about how you choose wisely which food you're eating at which part of the day. There are concept of cycles, like when your digestive fire is at its peak. So there's a time frame between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. where we advise, that is the heaviest meal of the day should be during that time frame. So अभी अगर evening में you have a social do, क्या करोगे? You will obviously like to have, I mean, you won't like to be singled out कि no, मेरा तो 10 to 2 वाला time frame हो गया, तो मैं क्या करूं? अरे, it's okay, once in a while you can have it throughout that festival period also, but then you cut back on other foods or you increase your liquid intake. कहीं बगल में आप मिलने गए हो तो you take a slightly circuitous route back home, just walk it out. Or yeah, so I mean, it's all about the balancing act, how you're able to achieve a balance in what kind of foods you eat and what time of the day, most importantly, you pick up those foods to eat. Even a diabetic is allowed to eat puri halwa once a week, I would say, provided you have it for breakfast, not for dinner. Yes.
And Prema, what about you? I think I would say maybe laziness is probably the biggest temptation where fitness is concerned, or like, yeah, meaning today, no tomorrow, today, no tomorrow.
Yeah. So one thing, taking from what Romita said, I think what I have also seen with food, because I have a sweet tooth, is willpower, whether it's food or fitness. And sometimes people say, oh, because you're working out, you can eat whatever you want. And I have seen, yes, of course, I can eat a chocolate and I can go burn it out. But ultimately, it is about what am I feeling inside, right? So, do I want to feel fitter? Do I want to feel good about myself? So, do I use that willpower to stay away from it sometimes, and most of the time, and sometimes maybe indulge? But don't feel guilty when I'm indulging, because I also know that I'm balancing it out with the fitness. As far as the laziness part is concerned, I think the first step is to take that one step to wear your clothes, your fitness clothes, and your shoes and go out there. So, one thing that really helps me is, like colorful clothes. Some people like to only wear black and work out, which is great. But that color for me, or that right fit of the attire, or like shorts that I'm going to wear to run, maybe even my ponytail band. So So willpower A is that do I stay away from that food? And if I want to indulge, don't feel apologetic about it. I know I'm indulging, but I want to get back to my goal of fitness. And like I said, like
Your sound's gone.
sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I audible? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the right nice color or whatever it is that makes me go and work out. So take the first step, and sometimes I'm really lazy, but I step out and I a few steps of running, maybe slow and then pick up pace. Sometimes body gives up and it's okay, then go out do some yoga. But just get out there, and even if you end up doing like half an hour of a workout, you feel so good at the end of it. You feel great. And I think that is the first step to laziness. And also, what is my end goal? So, if my end goal is a race or my end goal is an event, a fitness related event, then I know that maybe today I'm starting with 5 steps, tomorrow, maybe 10 steps. In the middle, I might fall flat, but I have to keep going because my end goal is that event. So I think that is the first thing that I would do to get out laziness. Is just take
Love
that
the
first
color
step and get
therapy
out.
idea. I just love it.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it works for me.
having targets is fantastic. It what That's what works for me.
Yeah, and today I
Taking it as
really
this
like the
activity
fact that
that actually gets
there
you
are
going.
smart watches, and even though it's a fad or a marketing tool, but people want to put in those 10,000 steps, and it's amazing.
Right. Correct. Okay. And Siddharth, what do you think? Like, I think the biggest hurdle here would be debts, maybe
Yeah.
financial.
So I'll kind of speak about a myth. Okay. Before I speak about the myth, I think one of the most important things what we speak about is the mindset. So the same thing even applies to money, because many people have a very different relation with money, thinking that you can't have you like how you have a relation with saying your fitness. You need to have that mindset to become fit, and whether you call it visualization, whether you call it technique, whatever you want to call it, the same thing applies to money. So there's no difference. The only thing which I would say, especially as a financial advisor and a coach, and what I've learned from my mentors is, and I'm sure most of the people agree to this, it applies to every aspect of life, but it also applies to uh, financial decisions. There are two types of pains in life. One is the pain of discipline, and the other is the pain of regret. Both are painful, so choose wisely. Okay. So yeah. So I can't hear anything.
Good point,
Yeah,
I'm saying.
acknowledging you.
Yeah.
Yes, I couldn't hear anything. I think. Yeah. So what is the thing I had to speak about again? Sorry, you said something else.
Debt.
Debt. Yeah. So no. So debt, of course. I mean, how I look at savings or putting money away, or the first step which I would think about doing, rather than talking about debt, is how when you earn money, you pay a tax to your government, right? I'm assuming most of the people do, right? Okay. So most of the people, so what I do is whatever now, like I said, savings is a habit. It's not something which, oh, today I have less money, so I can't put away anything, or today I have no money, so I should not. So for me, it's just a habit and a mindset where I say, whatever happens, think of it as a tax, like how you pay 30% of your income to the government, or you pay GST 18%, whatever it is. Think of putting away 10% of whatever your income is, whether it's on 100 rupees, or whether it's on a 1 lakh rupees, or whether it's on a 5 lakh rupees, whatever you earn. Put away 10% of that as known as your savings tax, which basically does what is that you put away your 10% of your money, whatever you're earning is, it doesn't make a difference. It just gets into it just becomes a habit of saving, where you put that money aside, and I call it a financial freedom account, where I put that money aside and I do not touch that money at all. And how the money goes a long way is that tomorrow, when you've reached much later on stage at your life, you will feel the difference, that that mindset has gone a long way, because I've been doing that for the last I think 13-14 years. It's not about the how much you earn. It's just about having the discipline to make sure that you put it away. So I call it a tax as well, because you're paying taxes to so many things. You're paying for your kids, you're paying for your family, you're paying for your this. But I think that 10% of whatever you can save goes into that for yourself, that later on when you need that money, maybe after you retire or when you're at an older age or whatever, it goes a long way. Now, where all to invest and all that, we can do that later. But main thing is that I would consider it, I would call it a savings tax, if you want to call it, because you're anyway paying taxes everywhere else, right? So you might as well put that somewhere where you know that you will not touch that for a long period of time, and you keep putting it up. You keep putting, it's not something which you stop. You don't pay tax once and then the rest of life you don't pay tax. The same thing, you keep putting, you keep topping up, and you keep building that account of yours where tomorrow, after you grow
Correct.
older,
We
you
got into savings, but what about debt? Meaning, how do you think that people who are getting onto a financial journey deal with debt? That is what.
so automatically, once you think of the mindset of kind of the saving mindset, the
Yeah.
debt thing kind of reduces by itself. But if you're asking just about debt, of course there are two types of debts. There's good debt and there's bad debt. I'll just put into a very simple context. The good debt is if you take a loan to buy a house, and you buy that house and you're staying in that house, and you give it on rent or something. That's good debt, right? Because you're kind of paying, you're taking the money to pay, to kind of build an asset, correct? In the long run, of course, not instantly. Okay. The other type of debt would be the bad debt, which is your credit card loan, which you would probably take a credit card where you would swipe on your credit card, but not have that kind of disposable income to pay your credit card bill or whatever. That kind of debt actually eats into all your savings. So basically, anything with a higher interest rate debt is always going to eat into your lower interest rate savings. So if I take a credit card loan, which is like say a 24% a year, and even if I've invested money in the stock, in say the financial markets, which I'm earning only 15-16%, automatically the balance is off, right? If I'm paying 24% and saving only 16%, I'm still at a deficit of 8%, right? So that kind of taking on that kind of debt obviously is not advisable, and there are ways you work around it. Now, if you have debt from the past, how to work around that is a different ball game altogether.
But you should get rid of your debts first before you start on a financial journey.
Yes, because see, if you're it's a mismatch of this, right? If you're earning say 15-16% and your debt is 24%, I'm just giving an example. There's always going to be a mismatch. So you'll always be in.
I'm sorry, I was very specific, very irritating, but I'm just trying to get a point across.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Doctor, what do you think? Like, what about mental fatigue or mental battles? How do people get rid of that?
See, human being hates changes. Okay. They are more into doer mode most of the time, bas bata do, solution de do, chal pado. It's usually like that. But most important thing is understanding the importance of pause. The biggest problem that has come after social media has become active is you're not having any time to reflect back, to pause, to understand where I am. So mental fatigue is also happening because we are watching reels and sleeping. So the mind is not stopping. We are watching too much of social media or being on the gadgets. It has importance of learning. It's giving you a lot of knowledge, but now it's going to a level that you don't know what knowledge to pick up. It's creating more anxiety because everybody is doing gyan and everything. So now, first you have to understand that at the end, this is your powerhouse. जिसका ये पावर हाउस हेल्दी होगा उसके सारे एस्पेक्ट्स you're not born with all the skills, you're not born with all the knowledge, you learn in your journey. That's where experts help you learn in the journey. You're not born with everything known in life.
Okay.
But which area to pick up is one thing, and that comes when you are having that pause and reflection to really see where I need to focus. Now, what comes in the way is you have to understand how a human body works. Human body has two systems. One is a fight-flight system, which is supposed to make you survive. And one is the intellectual system. Because why we say ours is the most evolved species is because we have a certain element in the brain, which is only exclusively like thinking, curiosity, planning, management, uh, resolving issues, teamwork. This is all high functioning. High functioning is a separate part which needs calmness. Calmness is an emotion. The minute I am in any negative emotional state, I will shut down this system. I am in an animal mode, just like a deer or a lion. If I think I'm a small animal, I'll be running in life. If I think I'm a big animal, I'll be aggressive and into fights. My whole approach will be fear-based or aggressive-based, but I am not using what I have been gifted and designed with. That aspect gets into a complete shutdown. Having this understanding is most important, that, oh, is my work causing anxiety? Let me handle my anxiety so that I give my performance. Oh, my weight is now becoming a problem. I'm having body image issues, and that is losing my confidence. So to focus on my dietitian, nutritionist, my gym instructor, I need to make sure I stop worrying right now. I need to make sure that I don't make it like a, looping, what is called. Like I start worrying, I have more negative thoughts, then I'm getting stressed, I'm trying to work out hard today, then fuss ho gaye kal ke liye. Then you're not breaking your cycle. So understanding what is in the way is your own emotions, negative emotions, and your own worries. They are in the way. You want to get out of a system, take help. Get out of, even worrying becomes a habit for a lot of people. Khali baite, and today's generation, like we are at a different age, but today's generation, a lot of children want to keep themselves busy because they don't want to face or feel what they are dealing with. That is also causing a lot of looping for people, because that busyness is not making you be aware of what I need to learn, where I need to focus, where I need to invest. That whole concept of reflections and goal setting will go amiss. It can be any area of life, but then that area you turn up resolving, learning, excelling, skill building, performing, whichever area. But if I am not giving that time and I'm looping in my negative emotions and worries and my past experience, oh, tab hua tha na, ab zindagi bhar ye nahi karna. Now that is also a hindrance. That's also a block. That is also actually cutting down your opportunities in life. That one experience, oh, you generalize this, ab to aise karna hi nahi hai. That is a big limiting factor if you want to excel in any area of life. So this is what comes in the way of a person.
Our own, like, we have to deal with those mental blocks, is what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Sounds gone.
The whole problem comes is people don't know their mental blocks. They normalize it. सबके साथ तो ऐसे चल रहा है. सभी तो ऐसे कर रहे हैं. And that you can only break is, वो लोग अच्छा कर सकते हैं तो मैं क्यों नहीं कर पा रहा? What is in my way? In Indian culture, खासकर, comparison is like, oh my God, अरे शर्मा जी के बेटे ने इतना परफॉर्म किया, आप तो सैलरी भी नहीं इतनी ड्रॉ कर रहा है, comparison right from childhood, that is put in. But comparison gives motivation to a very small percentage of people, very small. Everybody else will go into a animal behavior, which is either they will shut down or they will try running away, procrastination from the problem. Comparison is not healthy. It messes up relationships. It messes up how you see life. It messes up with your creative element. It messes up with you setting your life goals. What will give you contentment? You cannot create passion with comparison. You cannot create goals with comparison, because then you're limiting yourself, comparing to others. Maybe your potential and profile can take you here. So comparison is not a healthy pattern at all. So that all these factors actually come in the way of anybody's focus and performance.
And coming back to what you were saying, Romita, it was a good point, intermittent fasting. So we also think that there are a lot of attractions or distractions now for every aspect. And intermittent fasting or any kind of other nutrition-based organic food may be, like you said, jaggery or whatever. These are all factors that are coming in, new trends that come in. So how good or bad are they to follow? Like intermittent, you told us, jaggery, you told us. So
Yeah.
get onto that wagon without researching or talking to a nutritionist.
So no, definitely not, because I mean I completely agree with Dr. Shilpa said that comparison is very unhealthy, and all these fads come about ki there is a particular group of people who have followed a diet and they've lost weight, or they are looking their best, they are feeling their best, so probably it will work for us. But the first thing that you need to understand is that there is never a one size fits all. Everybody is unique. Everybody's body is different. So you need to first acknowledge that. You need to understand that, and you need to become aware about that before you can actually get on to any kind of a diet plan. So hence, getting back to these distractions, we were talking about junk food and all also, that has like reduced considerably. And in India, I mean, we are very lucky. Our diet is by default very healthy and most scientific. Our standard ghar ka khana, dal, rice, and roti bhaji, or whichever grain you prefer, whichever vegetable, that is the healthiest. The amount of mehnat we Indians do to cook our food, I don't think any of the cuisines, any of the cultures do that.
I think half
Ha.
of us are too focused on eating out right now.
Yeah, so now, I mean, nowadays, like I've been working with a lot of kids because, there is unfortunately the concept, nahi, I mean, it is a trend which is emerging of child obesity because of, all these lifestyle changes, especially where parents are working and there is, supervision is kind of limited. So children are kind of stuck at home, and they land up having sedentary lives. Even if they are going through the wheels or the routine of going from one class to another, there is, I mean, the kind of nutrition that they're getting, is it actually what they need? So my main forte or understanding, my own kid, I mean, she is a very picky eater. So the entire effort goes in, kind of making her eat and healthy and all of that. So I mean, I think so. Even for adults, it holds true that, don't go in for eliminating an entire food group. Ki, arey, uske liye she went off dairy, so she's feeling better. I'll also stop eating dairy, or I'll also stop gluten. I'll go vegan. Vegan is like very, very difficult. Please understand that vegan may you have something very healthy foods also get eliminated, like your desi ghee, which is a very traditional cooking medium also. Please don't eliminate entire food groups unless you have a proven allergy and you're under medical supervision and you've been asked to stop a particular food group. So my main aim is to, make you understand, whoever comes to me, that first understand that, what exactly you need, what is your body makeup, and then you decide, that whether you should completely eliminate a particular food group, or what is it that you need which will help you feel more energetic. Again, this whole concept of body shaming, everybody has a unique body shape also. Now, how you style yourself, I won't look good in a mermaid lehenga because my body shape is like this. Why should I break my head against the wall and, go on crash diets and all of that? So, I mean, there is something known as expectation management also. Ki understand, what is it that you're cut out for, accept, acknowledge, and then work around it. So again, I mean, it's all about a balance. You need to strike a balance, and that will only happen if you are well aware, well informed. We have all the resources in our kitchen pantry where we live. You have to learn how to eat, not only according to the dinacharya, which is your routine, but also ritucharya, the season. Bombay, I mean, by and large, the weather remains more or less the same. So again, if I go back to the sugar-free topic that I was talking about, तो ठीक है, you have khajur and dates, but do you know how heaty it is? ज़्यादा खाओगे तो either it will give you a runny tummy or you'll break out into rashes or blisters. It's very, very heaty. So awareness is key, is my mood point.
Correct. And what about you, Prema? What do you think? There is so much where fitness is, concerned. There is so many types in the market, and I see that people are just kind of running. They'll go towards Zumba or they'll go towards Pilates. Okay, they'll do it for 10 days, and they'll come back to running or walking or cycling, like you said. But people, because there's so much available in the market, people are not really focusing or sticking to a trend. So, what do you think?
So I think, bringing all the points together, number one is the focus. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to try out Zumba? Why do you want to try out salsa? For the fun of it, great. Go and see whether you like it. Do you want to try out strength training? Great. Or has a doctor suggested? Go try it out without being scared first. And not just decide in the first class, but maybe the first few classes. Secondly, as far as information is concerned, like Romita was saying, that everything's available to you, but that is also a dangerous trend, because being a journalist, I have seen, and since we have to cover different angles of the story, now if I want to Google eggs are bad for you, then, and I want to write a story as a journalist that eggs are bad, I will find all the points, I'll put those points across, I'll get a nutritionist to talk about it, and you'll get a story that eggs are bad. There's also the other side that eggs are good, and I'll do that research again, get a point of view, eggs are good. Now it is about you making those informed decisions based on what you are reading, who you are reading, whose article you're reading, who you're following on Instagram, because everybody now wants to be like top, they want to be experts. But who are you really following? And why are you following them? And one size doesn't fit all. You have to understand that maybe some like high intensity interval training works for some people, but somebody who has PCOS or PCOD, HIIT is not good for them initially until the doctor gives them a clearance. So it's about stress levels, it's about all of that. And to know what suits you, what doesn't suit you. And also, like some people say, oh, marathon running is bad for you. But understand why it is bad, and then what you can do to mitigate, the other aspects of the bad or how it affects your knees. For example, rugby is a high contact sport, and you do get injured. So don't be discouraged by that. First, see whether you like it, whether you're willing to go out and take those risks, and not stupid risks, but informed risks that you're taking. So go out there, have fun first. First, see what it is, what you're getting into, and don't have to do it just because somebody else is doing. Someone like Zumba, someone's running an event, a race, or whatever it is. What fits you, what will fit you, doesn't mean that you have not run in the past, you've not worked out in the past, you'll never work out. There's nothing like that. It's about your journey today and what you want to do. Now let's look at also now different aspects of this. Say I've had a slip disc issue. A few months ago, less than 3 months ago, 2 of my family members passed away within 2 months. Now, my mother, my sister passed away within 2 months. Now, it was a lot for me. Fitness was something that I knew I wanted to get back to. I was desperate. But also the body was in shock, the mind was in shock. And I got back to it, but it was counterproductive. And I had to step back and then slowly move forward into rehab workouts and then start off again. So to understand when something is good for you, when it is not, get medical clearance and know that a doctor can do something for you, but ultimately you have to do it with your willpower. So one size doesn't fit all, and know when to take your baby steps, know when to take those steps back. But what is your end goal, and have fun. That is the first thing.
So this also kind of complements what Dr. Shilpa was saying, that till you do not deal with what is going on up here, you cannot really focus on your fitness or your nutrition or anything. So
absolutely, it's about your And yes, fitness, it helps because you're channelizing your negative into positive energy. But when my mind was broken, my body was broken. For me to actually go out and do insane number of kilometers of running was not the best idea. So to know, okay, that is not working, yoga is working for me. Or maybe somebody tells you that, but make the right choices, the decisions. And sometimes, patthar dil pe haath rakh ke, patthar dil pe rakh ke, you have to say that I have to take that step back and I have to do what's best for me, but to make that informed decisions, who you're following. That is very important, and who you're listening to.
And Siddharth, like again,
Yeah,
so
I
much
I think there's a lot of, I
about
think we're running out of time. So
yeah.
I'm just going to keep mine short and sweet. So I'm just going to say that I've learned from my mentors and my coaches, and my thing is that if your why is strong enough, your how will show up. So that's all I can say in general, because hearing them speak and all is very I've learned a lot today, so it's good. But I'm just going to sum up, because giving more financial gyan is not going to help right now, and we're short on time. So I can just end by saying, if your why is strong enough, your how will find its way.
But just like very concisely, if you can tell us, meaning how do you, again, finance related also, there's so much in the market, there's SIPs, there's mutual funds, there's liquid funds, like how do
Correct.
people choose, even if you're
So
starting, how do you even
this
know it?
itself, like they said, it's not a one size fit all kind of thing. The same thing applies for investing and money management, where it's not a one size fits all. It's also depends on your risk, like I said, on your risks, on your beliefs. A lot of people have kind of a counter belief in a lot of things in financial products, where they say, well, okay, stock market investing in stocks is risky, so we rather go the uh, mutual fund way or the SIP,
Yeah,
which
correct,
technically are investing in the stock market. It's just a different way of doing it.
correct.
So those kind of things, like we said, it's not a one size fit all. Uh, the best way to work around it would be, like I said, putting 10% of your income every month as a discipline, like how you wake up and you brush every day, and you wake up and you go for a run every day, like they were sharing. The same thing I would say is that every month just have that habit of putting aside that 5 to 10%. I know some 10% might seem a lot for a lot of people, but it's not about, like I said, the amount. It's about the habit and the discipline. That goes a long way in the long run. That's all. Then the amount doesn't matter later on. I mean, of course, it does matter, but I'm just trying to make it a bit simpler by just saying that just try with 10%. Now, whatever the 10% is, that depends from person to person.
Saving is the way to go.
Yes.
Okay. Dr. Shilpa, meaning again, mental wellness related, there's journaling, there's writing those 3 morning pages or something else, meaning there is so much. There are gratitude journals, but where do you start with, or where do you focus on, or do you focus on everything?
No, you don't focus on everything. You have to understand where you are, as what, Prema and also Romita shared. Where am I? So how do you figure that out in case of a mental health is important? First of all, you may just start with listening to everyone else, maybe picking up some book, anything that's like known as a self-help book or a self-work book. You can start your journey there. If you're able to put it into actions, you can stay there. Because at the end, for example, if I have a financial goal and I'm putting that into action by taking some simple techniques for taking care of my stressors and anxiety and ifs and buts, works, done. Somebody told me the steps, I'm in a doer state. I'm performing. I am done. I don't need to worry anymore. But in case I'm performing in area, for example, I'm performing in my work life, but I'm messing up my personal life, which means here I don't have the skills. Or am I compartmentalizing the two areas, or am I एक का काम दूसरे में जा रहा है, या there is intersection of how I am carrying my emotions, then it's questionable. Then this book is not going to help you, because it is giving you performance in one area but deteriorating the other area because you don't know how to balance. Then next step is when what people love hearing in today's time in Instagram and YouTube, motivational speakers and coaches and hearing all that. Perfect. Take tips. If it helps you, brilliant. But how do you calculate? मुझे खुशी हो रही है सुनकर और मैं अंडा एक्शन ले रही हूँ. Please don't waste that 1 hour. It won't take you more than 3 days to figure that out. It's just giving me a temporary happiness. It's not even worth it because it is actually distracting you and unconsciously bridging the gap. See, I cannot perform. Subconsciously, you're reinforcing, मैं सिर्फ बातों के धनी होती जा रही हूँ बट परफॉर्मेंस एंड कॉन्फिडेंस रिड्यूस ही होता रहेगा. You'll be good preacher, but life is showing up something else. 3 days is enough to figure out when I'm listening to others, am I able to imbibe that? Again, actions is the key. If these two are not happening, then go to an expert who gives you a doer mode of style of do this, do this, do this. That's skill building. Oh, I need a skill. I take the help. I build my skill. But if after doing all this, you still feel performance is not happening, you're not sustaining your performance. Like you went to a dietitian, took the diet. The minute you left the diet, you came back to your older pattern and then again gained weight after a couple of months. Somebody taught you how to earn money and then you went high and then there's a dropout. Like you see in a lot of glamour world, athletes, CEOs, they perform and they drop. What happened? They had all the skills. Something happened in the mind. Now that is something then you go to a therapist for. It's not that you have a mental illness, but a mental block. That's where the therapist is required. What belief do I have around success? What belief am I carrying, which is a blind spot for me? It's not bringing out the best in me. Where am I stopping? Why am I stopping? I know I have to do it. Like my rational mind, it is so clear, cut, cut, cut. I can give lectures, I can do 10 other things. But when it comes to performance, I'm just not able to do, which is known as a mental block, which every therapist has a different style of working. Some may go through talking, some may go through, they're different therapy styles. So go to a good therapist who can take out this mental block. That's the
Do you also call that self-sabotage? Sorry. Is there also
Yes,
part of self-sabotage?
self-sabotage is for the person to identify or for others to say, but how to pull out is what therapist's work is.
So to sum it all of you, can you just give us like a few steps to kind of, we have how to start the journey, we know what we need to avoid or what we need to kind of focus on, but what should you do to continue? Like what to do to continue this maybe fit like nutrition journey?
So to sum it up, again, I mean, I'll say that awareness is key. You need to understand what is it that you require. So awareness also comes by listening to your body. One day is good, one day is bad. So you need to, probably alter your food intake accordingly, depending on your environmental factors. So awareness is key. Your body type, you want an analysis, you come to us. I'm there for that. And always remember that comparison will never help. One size never fits all. You need to understand and acknowledge that what is it that works for you. So please don't try to blindly ape your friend. And for food, definitely moderation or portion control and maintaining a balance. Please avoid going overboard. Don't indulge in binge eating. Frequent small meals are any day better than a big meal. And yes, these are some of the basic pointers. And yes, respect the food around you. You have access. So always make sure that you get a good portion of the locally available, the city that you're staying in, the locally available raw materials. So that is all I would like to say.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Eva, what about you?
Well, I would say consistency is key, whether it is your food, finance, fitness. Like Siddharth was saying, every month, whether you have less money, more money, put aside that amount because that consistency gives you that discipline. That's number one. Secondly, also when you bunk classes or bunk tuitions and you bunked for more than 3 days and you realize you get used to that habit of bunking and you don't want to go back. So I'm also conscious of, okay, I have not gone working out for 3 days or 4 days, and maybe I'm unwell. But that process of I want to get back should be there. To take those small steps, I don't have to take a big step to get back. It is a small step of wanting to get back. So consistency is key. And even if you're lost, but just stay consistent, that discipline comes in and you'll find your way back again. So I think that is key. Secondly, to realize that what is working for me now, what worked for me before, what might work for me later, I don't know. But what is working for me now? And to realize that let's stick to what's working now. Because if we're talking about the 4 F's, now if my focus is getting my work sorted or my finances sorted, then am I going to be able to put that much of work into, say, fitness? Or if I'm supposed to mentally be all right to be able to do anything else, then let me focus on that. I'm not saying don't focus on the others, but know that portion control, whether it's food, finance, fitness, or emotional well-being all together. How do you balance it out?
Fantastic, Prema.
Yeah, same. I think she kind of summed it up for me as well. Consistency is key. So the same thing applies to even your finances. Be consistent and have that mindset. Because if you, like we said, that it's all about the mindset. If your mindset is correct, and it's easy to find the tools today online very easily, but the main thing is the mindset, which has to be right. And if that is right, then I think 70% of the game is won there. The remaining 30% is easy to find a coach, find a person who will guide you, or the right person who will guide you, or find tools online, or find a proper advisor, or find a coach, or whatever it is. So yeah, so have that mindset, and yeah, like Shivan said, know your limitations, where your limitations are, and build up upon that. And that's where we coaches and uh, therapists and everyone comes into the picture.
Thank you. And
Sure.
So let's start with basics. So I've also got a podcast on, Spotify by name of Sunny Side Up, as well as it's available on YouTube. That's for somebody to understand mental health, basically. But when I am ready to invest in myself, and as I told you, body, mind, and soul go in alignment, the first question comes, am I happy? Because happy is a positive emotion. Am I calm? Calm is the most neutral state. Happiness becomes positive.
Yeah.
Now, these two questions will then start your journey, because if I want to be a performer, I need to have a positive mental health, a positive emotional health state. Now, what Prema as well as Siddharth said, consistency, persistence. These two elements, am I going to make myself happy for 2 minutes? What is that I like to do? Maybe a cup of coffee, watching nature, talking to my friends. Start small. What makes me happy? Maybe it is something fulfilling from a bucket list. It could be me time. So one is putting a lot of people, because of financial pressures, don't take up their hobbies as professions. But am I keeping my hobby alive? Am I keeping my passion alive? Maybe I like music, listen to music. I can't play a guitar, but I like to buy a guitar. I can afford buying a guitar. It's like going into that bucket list in some way will bring that happiness back for you. Meeting old friends, socializing in some way. Me time and what makes me happy is step one. If you're able to do that, it will somewhere start creating a balance. If not, then you need to question, what do I need to do to bring these elements back in my life?
thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank
And
you.
Thank you,
kind of
Jee.
sum it up, we
Thank you so
need
much.
awareness. For fitness, we need consistency. Finance, we need a mindset, and for focus, we need clarity. I think these are the points that we picked up from all of you throughout this chat. And thank you. This was a very informed discussion, and I hope it helps all of the people who listen to it. So
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Thank you,
having
guys.
us.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
for having
having
us.
us. It was very informative for me as well, listening
Yeah,
to
Thank
everyone.
you.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.